Right, we'll try and fit in today's game of rapid chess, 10 minutes each, so up to 20 minutes long. 1475, good luck. Let's play the usual carol. 674 I've played now. 560 for my opponent, so it's obviously enough to establish a baseline rating. Russian players tend to know their theory, doesn't really matter what the ratings are. Let's develop. It gives us a chance to get our bishop up, but it depends what our opponent does, how they play it. So I'll get the bishop up and go a bit like a London style structure, and then we're just going to try and develop the bishop and castle and worry about playing the game. So bishop up here. If knight out wide, I can just drop the bishop back. Just click anywhere on the board and it clears the arrows that you've done if you've done any. Cursor off the board so there's no accidental slips. Right, any reason not to castle here? I don't see it. Right, now we can try and worry about a plan. So the rooks in the middle are potentially useful. Okay, he's launched one. So rook across could be useful if the knight moves as a target on the c2 pawn. And I don't see anything better. My knight has got options doing it this way. My bishop can still drop back. This bishop can drop back queen up to create the obvious threat. Knight could go forward and try and trade something and say open up the scope for this rook. But equally these pawns could just come blasting through and we could have a bit of a problem. So how do we do this? Okay, he's offered a draw. I don't want an early draw. I'm going to throw in a pawn push, so I've got the option to drop the bishop back, so if he comes out wide I don't have to trade. But it does give him a target. Queen across and potentially sack. Oh, he's just shuffled his rook back. Okay. I'm going to drop my bishop back then, just lining up a potential to go after the obvious. So queen here or not here. Guess he just pushes. I'm going to do that anyway, just to stop the knight jump. It gives me a chance to develop the queen. Okay, he's come forward. So I'm lining up the idea to play knight forward. That's why I've put these on the diagonal. Okay, so he's closed that off immediately. That's logical. That's good. I think knight up is still a good principled move though. Or is it bishop up? I don't like. I'm going to play knight forward. I assume I'll take with a bishop if he takes. Take with a pawn feels wrong, doesn't it? So we're threatening takes, grab a pawn and open up an attack on the c2 pawn. Let's see what he does, whether he just ignores it and pushes. But that's the base threat, is just take the knight and grab the d4 pawn. That's the basic threat. And now he's played g3. I need to shift my queen and my bishop. So if I move my knight now, there is an attack here. But knight back might invite him forward. But I don't want these blocking each other now. So maybe queen across, see if he pushes. Takes, knight out wide to come in is probably alright. Let's go here. It just creates a threat. He might push on. Takes, knight across to come in over is what I'm looking at. Okay, he's guarded it. How do we do this? Not obvious at all. I don't want these pieces kind of stuck in out the game, but they're not doing a lot either. Let's go here and hit the knight, and possibly queen across to hit the diagonal. Gives my knight a square here as well to open up. Just depends what he does, where he goes. Knight out wide feels a bit misplaced, but he's playing it very well otherwise, isn't he? He's doing well here. Knight here restricts my queen's escape, but knight in we just take. Let's see what white does. Yeah, queen's gone back. So can we sack something? Take, queen takes, knight takes. Is it an attack? No, I think you've got bishop takes back. Takes, or knight back. If you come here, I can still take. I'm going to come here just because I create this double attack. If he plays bishop up, I can actually whip the knight. Knight in I can take with my bishop. So he's played rook across, so now we've got this target again. But not easy, is it? Not easy. I'm going to develop the bishop to hit the pawn. But it feels like my pieces are just getting a bit misplaced. They're getting on the wrong squares. I'm going wrong this game. It just feels like it. Rook up, rook across, or rook c7, rook e8 could be useful again. Just to pressure while it's not easy to push, but maybe you can push anywhere. He's played back. So take. Oh, now he's allowed me takes, so I can grab the pawn, right? I think I can take now and try and grab this pawn. If the bishop moves anywhere, I just trade the queen. Wherever the bishop goes, I think I'm safe to take the queen. And a pawn's still a pawn. But in principle, doubling the rooks up feels good while there's a pawn that's difficult to push. But at some point, you might just think, well, I'll just push it anyway. It's kind of what he's done there. Okay, that's a good move, I think. So let's just drop back to where we were. But we need to shift our knight somewhere so the queen's got a proper escape path. This bishop's not really doing a mass amount where the bishop is. So we could do with trading the bishops off would be good. Otherwise, maybe just double the rooks up. It's very awkward. Very awkward, isn't it? If you go forward, you can just come under attack immediately. White's playing this pretty well. Bishop's gone back. So do I do the knight to do this? I like the idea of that, actually. I don't want to burn all my clock. I like the idea of giving my queen a proper escape route if needed. And the knight can hopefully get on a better square, but obviously you're not going forward this way in a hurry. He comes forward to deal with that pawn, and I can't take now without losing my bishop. But I do have knight across. Hit the bishop with a check threat, hit the pawn. So we're threatening to simply take the bishop with check. If you go back here, I guess that's logical. Oh, he's taken, what? Has he just blundered? Or is he? Okay. Yeah, if you come forward, I take another piece with check, and then I'm okay to take here, or take the rook. Obviously, if queen takes, I just simply take back. My rook's guarded. King into the corner. I think I can take, but going there, I think I just take here first with check. And then I'm okay to trade the rook and then grab the pawn or grab this pawn. Okay, so I think we take the rook first and then we take this pawn. Okay, so take, so now we threaten this one. Just one simple mistake. He played really well up to that point. And of course I could easily blunder black, it does happen. Never take it for granted that you're going to win a game just because you're better. Just click anywhere on the board, like I said, to clear the markings. But d4 just looks simple. Just push the pawn and try and protect it. Just try not to blunder some silly back rank checkmate or allow my opponent to queen. So yeah, I like the idea of just pushing the pawn. Even if the pawn gets lost, rook across and you trade, that should still be good for me. It should still be good for me trading off because we get the major piece, the queen's off the board. Then there's a bit less risk of messing it up. Yeah, rook comes forward. So we want to activate our rook, I think. So here, rook takes. Yeah, that's the better way to take for white. I guess I push on, and if you take... Oh, I can't even take there, can I? Yeah, I didn't think that one through quite so well, so I've chucked that pawn for nothing. That's a little bit unfortunate. I'm going to play here and try and encourage f4. I can't obviously keep the pawn. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to open the king's defences up. A move like queen over, I think I'll just drop back so I'm out of the firing line. Yeah, gone for f4. So we'll come back. And now we've got the option to play rook across. If you take with the rook, then that should guarantee one of the pieces at least comes off. So we've got rook across now. Hold on, there is a check first and I can win a pawn, but I think it's more important to get the piece off. But a pawn's still a pawn, isn't it? So we can check and grab the pawn. So rook over first. I don't see how white avoids trading. Just rook takes, queen takes. The queen will have to move. And that's got to be better for us. But check and take the pawn. There's a lot less risk of white queening then. But my instincts are to get the piece off the board while I can guarantee getting the piece off. But what if the queen mops my pawns up? So here, take, queen takes. The queen moves somewhere. Don't know where. Or I just go for the check, drive the king into the open. Actually, I'm going to go for the check. There's always a chance you could go to f2 and blunder the pin. If you don't, I'm winning the pawn anyway, and I can still come forward at a later date. So let's grab the pawn. Like I say, my instincts were really to make sure I get one of the pieces off. There's less risk of blundering some sort of checkmate if I do that. But that's what I'm going to aim to do now in principle, is come back. Oh, is that a similar mistake? Rook across now. Take, take. No, of course it's not. It's just bad by me. But I can go here and check, or I can shift the bishop. So I like queen back. Yeah, we've got a check threat, and it's not easy for the white queen to get in. But I need to get my rook active. Oh, what's he done? Why has he done that? Maybe just didn't see anything to do, so it's just getting the game over with. Okay, fair enough. Okay, we'll see how the engine says. We actually played it. Yeah, I didn't even get any rating points for that game. 37 moves, so we'll see how the engine says we actually did, whether we made any blunders anywhere. Oh, we played it okay. 93% versus 85% accuracy, 21 center pawn loss. My average is 32. So if you look at the graph there, we've gained a slight advantage out of the opening here. We're just building a slow, steady advantage right from when we castle, but we've gone wrong. So here we're +2, and we've gone wrong a little bit here. I should have played knight f5 instead of bishop to d6, so it's still basically level in this position. But we're just always that little bit better, and that's when we've won the piece. Oh, the engine's saying I should just take the pawn here. Ah, of course, the bishop's overloaded. The queen would be guarding 2 pieces. Takes, takes, take, and then take, take. So I've missed a nice tactic there, so that's why we've got a mistake there. And then we're much better from this point onwards. Well, we win the piece. Then was it better here to grab the pawn or just play rook across? Rook across is my instinctive move, just because I'm guaranteeing getting a piece off the board. Yeah, the engine is basically preferring the rook to d8, but they're basically the same, 5.5 and 5.4. Or getting the bishop out the way, bishop to b6. So they're basically the same, but yeah, the engine did actually slightly prefer rook across. That was my instinctive move, just so you guarantee getting one of the pieces off, so less risk of messing up. But we got the win.